This is Ian Lamont, founder of EasyGenie Genealogy Charts and Forums. Today I'm going to show you how to use free Social Security death records on FamilySearch.org to find out when an ancestor or relative was born. If this video helps, please like it and follow me. Let's get started. So the U.S. Social Security Death Index, this is a really useful resource because you can find out information about the birth and the death dates for people who died in the 20th century, so died in the 1900s. And in this case, we have an ancestor or a relative. Let's just say this is great uncle Jimmy Pearson. We know that he died in Texas in the 1980s. We don't know when he was born. The only other piece of information that we know is that he was in his 80s when he passed away. So he was born, he died sometimes in the 1980s, and let's see if we can find some information about him. Now, you can put in the birth year or the death year, but I don't know when he was born. I just know when he was died. So let's just say we know he died in the 1980s, sometime in the 1980s. We just don't know when he was born, and we're trying to figure that out. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the U.S. Social Security Death Index doesn't include every single person who's been registered for Social Security and who died, and in basically 20% of the cases, the names and the records aren't there for some reason. I don't know why, but the other 80% are, and sometimes you can really get good results from this. So you can see there are quite a few James Pearsons in Texas at the time. What they do is they show a range of dates for the 1980s, and even actually going into the 1990s. But what you may need to do is you may need to look at each individual record to determine if it's the right person. The other piece of information that's really important actually is where they died in Texas, or their last place that they were registered to live. It can be a zip code or it can be the name of a town, but that will really help narrow things down. Also, as I said before, we know that he went by Jimmy, so we might be able to find something there. If you have a middle initial, that can help as well. So let's take a look at this person, James Pearson. This person died in 1989 and was born in 1910. So that's almost 80 years old. So let's see if there's any other information there. So Bexar, Texas. It shows the postal code as well. That's not really enough to go by, so let's keep on looking. So we just looked at James P. You can also see other alternate spellings for the last name, Pearson. If we want to get rid of those, basically check the checkbox, match last names exactly, press search again, and that will reduce things. Okay, so now we just have Pearsons. And I'm basically scrolling through to see if I can find the right person. You can see some of the records actually go into the 2000s. So maybe what I can do here is I can change the year range to, I think it was the mid-80s, so let's say 1983 to 1989, and see if we can find him. Okay, so this is just getting people in the 1980s. It's a much smaller, it's 511, it's still quite a few, but maybe we might be able to find something. And then as a last resort, because I can see there's quite a few James Pearsons, I might just try to see if Jimmy works out and search for that. Okay. So I can see a Jimmy Pearson up here, but that's not it. And you can see the age range isn't right because this person was in their 70s when they died. Oh, but this looks interesting. So Jimmy E. Pearson, November 1989, born in 1907, so 82 years old at the time. I think the person did live in the San Antonio area, so let's see if it's the right person. San Antonio, Bexar, Texas. What I could do is I could check the zip code, and then I see a birth date, 7 March 1907. Sometimes they only give the month of birth, but in this case they actually have the full date. And then the other thing I could do is just check the middle name of James Pearson or Jimmy Pearson. If the E matches up, we got a hit, and this is our man. If this video helped, please be sure to subscribe to get more free genealogy tips. There's a link in the description to download free genealogy PDFs too from easygenie.org. See you next time.